Throughout history, humans have always been engaged in conflicts somewhere in the world. Civilizations grew, empires were formed, but almost no period in history was without war. But in the middle of the 20th century, people began to think about forming organizations to use to solve their own problems. In the early 20th century, in 1914, the killing of an Austro-Hungarian archduke by a young Serbian named Gavrilo Princip sparked World War I. After 4 years, during which humans caused widespread destruction and countless deaths across the world, this war ended. After the war, Americans and Europeans thought about establishing an organization to prevent such a disaster from happening again. One that would allow countries to solve their problems through discussion and negotiation. The victorious countries of World War I formed an organization called the League of Nations. After its formation, many independent countries joined, as seen on the map. The League of Nations had 58 members, and within a few years, some countries started creating tensions. Italy was expanding its territory. Japan entered China, and Germany's fascist government came to power and wanted to attack everyone. England and France protested these actions, and Germany, Italy, and Japan left the League in response. Even before the world had recovered from World War I, World War II began. When World War II started, the League of Nations effectively lost its value and collapsed. In 1941, 2 years after the start of World War II, and when America entered the war, Franklin Roosevelt held a meeting with Winston Churchill in Canada to decide what each should do after the war and how to deal with the main causes of the outbreak of World War II. A year later, in 1942, America, Britain, the Soviet Union, and China held a meeting to discuss forming an organization called the United Nations. At that time, 26 countries became members of this organization. 3 years later, World War II ended, and Germany, Japan, and Italy were defeated. After the war ended, the United Nations was established in San Francisco, California. This organization has 6 main branches. The first branch is the General Assembly. We can say this is the heart of the United Nations. It is where all member countries, each with 1 equal vote, gather to discuss global issues: peace, poverty, climate change, human rights, and any important international topic. Its decisions are not binding, but they indicate the general direction of the world. The next branch is the Security Council, where the real power is concentrated. Its main task is to maintain global peace and security. It has 15 members in total, 5 permanent members, and 10 others that change every 2 years. The 5 permanent members are the USA, Russia, China, France, and Britain, and they have veto power. This means, for example, if 14 countries approve a decision, but one of these 5 countries opposes it, the decision is cancelled. The next branch is the Economic and Social Council. This council focuses on development, education, health, and the global economy, and actually coordinates specialized UN agencies such as UNESCO, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization. Its main goal is to help countries not only live in peace, but also progress. The fourth branch is the Trusteeship Council. After World War II, many regions in Africa and other continents were still under colonial rule by major powers. This council's duty was to oversee the process of independence for those territories. The last trust territory became independent in 1994, and since then the Council's activities have stopped, but it is still one of the 6 main branches of the United Nations. The 5th branch is the International Court of Justice. This court, located in The Hague, Netherlands, resolves disputes between countries, for example, regarding borders, treaties, and more. The last branch is the Secretariat. This is the executive branch of the United Nations, where all decisions, reports, and operations are carried out. At the head of this branch is the UN Secretary General, currently Antonio Guterres from Portugal. In 1952, the United States gave land to the UN building. Of course, this land is considered international and belongs to all countries. The United Nations aims to maintain justice in the world, but it does not have a particularly strong record. For example, during the wars in Yugoslavia or Sudan, or in countries at risk of genocide, it provided little help. Sometimes it was also powerless. For example, in 2003, the US asked the Security Council for authorization to attack Iraq. The United Nations rejected the request, but it did not matter to the US, which declared war on Iraq. However, the UN also does good work. For example, it delivers medicine and food to poor African countries or provides aid during wars, such as in Ukraine or Israel. But the main goal of this organization has been to prevent World War III. Do you think it will succeed, or will we witness World War III as well?